Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I think I have the wrong speech. This is the one on brainstem reticular formation in adult rats. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Let's see here. No, this one, I think this one is the wrong one too. This one is on paleo. No, so it's, yes, pronation in paleo hominins. That's not it. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't mean to keep you guys waiting. Oh, okay, wait a minute. This is my talk on myopic loss aversion and stochastic modeling, but because I put the PowerPoint presentation together at 5 o'clock in the morning, Elliot and Allison, Ritesh, Luca, and Christy said I couldn't put it up here, so I guess I can't do that one either. Let me see here. What did I do with it? This is terrible. All right, maybe, oh, here we go. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay, here we go. Not much light here, is there? Okay. Hi, everyone. It's very good evening to all of you, and a warm welcome as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of my software application in Aptly. Tonight is an exceptional night. 10 years ago, I started this company in the backseat of a friend's car because, frankly, that was all I could afford as an office, and she was a great kid. Oh, no. Okay, so I'm really screwing up here. Okay. No, that's not it either. Okay. All right. I think I got it. Okay. Good morning. I hope you're all well caffeinated, which is certainly fitting for a day this important to us at all. If you don't know me, by the way, I'm Jonathan Zatlin, and I'm one of the associate directors. And if you're not well caffeinated, there's ample coffee waiting for you outside. Now, if we had the time, I deputized some of our social and natural scientists to collaborate in true Kilachand style on collecting some statistical information on coffee consumption in the Boston area in the run-up to the symposium. We'd work backwards to strip out the general rise in caffeination associated with the end of the semester, discount the greater addition to coffee consumption provided by our Keurig machine, and driven mainly by Kilachand sophomores and freshmen, and account for the proximity of the machines to Charles's office, and the trade-off between talking to him and getting to class on time. And then we'd work forward to understand the spike in consumption associated with the symposium. Now, of course, we'd want to take the aggregate figure and resolve it into its component parts. What are the coffee preferences of the average Kilachand student? We'd need some of our social scientists to test whether it varies with gender, and if class, religion, ethnicity, and sexual preference have an impact on coffee selection and the social construction of taste. And we'd have Allison Parker explain the gendered use of idioms we use when we're enjoying our coffee. And Tiffany would produce the coolest visual representation of the quantitative arguments. Taking these results, we'd unite Calvin with our engineers to develop a coffee machine that is simultaneously practically suited to the needs of the Kilachand community, beautifully designed, and, don't forget, a worthy example of you societal engineers, and I quote, employing innovation across disciplines and fields to enhance our quality of life, unquote. Now, working outward to, is there any way we could get some light back here? There's no light back here. I can barely see. Can you guys hear me? Yes. All right. So then I don't really need the microphone, but I do need light. Working outward to look at private industry, we need our economics and business majors to identify the impact on local small businesses in their competition with corporate behemoths like Starbucks, while Michaela would let us know if it heightened corporate responsibility. Then we'd need a combination of biologists, chemists, and psychologists to understand the effects of caffeine in combating that most lethal of diseases, senioritis. By which, Elliot, I do not mean a fascination with the elderly. And that's where we pull in our humanities students. They historicize coffee drinking and analyze the social practices surrounding it. For example, did you know that coffee is a fruit and not a bean? And that this misidentification is an artifact of coffee's colonial history? And did you know that the guy who invented decaf was, and I kid you not, a big Nazi? Which means, of course, that caffeination is actually a moral imperative. Finally, we need Meg to draw us a comic book about how drinking coffee is, for those of us with synesthesia, really about hearing colors with your tongue. We'd also have Annie try to make some sense and nonsense of our coffee drinking in a TV series. Now, if you think that this sounds like a really stupid project, you can imagine the budget discussion. Now, just imagine for a second I'm Charles, spot me about a foot, and a wool tie. Well, I don't understand why every single student wants to leave Kilachand in April to do some last-minute field research. Why would anyone ever want to leave? Besides, what's the point of going abroad to buy coffee? We can ask Joanna to go to Costa Rica and buy us a couple times. But, says Muhammad, what about counterfeit coffee, or coffee so old that the active caffeine content has dissipated? Well, says Amanda, the real problem is you just can't have 47 students leaving all at once. Besides, they want the college to fund their travel during reading period. And the registrar won't let us schedule anything during classes. Okay, says Jonathan, but they'll have to transcribe their data. I mean, pick their beans, I mean, fruit, whatever. Now, I hope you see where I'm going with this. And if you don't, there's more coffee outside. And restrooms, lots of restrooms. But what I'd really like to speak to you this morning about isn't coffee, or even the packaging surrounding it. Instead, I'd like to discuss non-functional slack fill. What, you ask, is non-functional slack fill? I'm so glad you asked. The US government defines slack fill as, quote, the difference between the actual capacity of a container and the volume of product contained therein. It is, if you will, the empty space between the coffee beans in the box and the top of the box. The necessary emptiness between the content and the form. Or if you like, slack fill is the speech, tucked in between all of your hard work on your keystones and the way that you're going to communicate that work later on this morning in your presentations and posters. But non-functional slack fill is an unnecessary and misleading emptiness. That's when the container is filled to less than its capacity for reasons that aren't related to the manufacturing process. That is, to mislead customers into believing that there's more to it than there really is. Now, I think you'll all agree that we at Kilachand are philosophically opposed to non-functional slack fill. We've got nothing against slacking off. That's fine, especially when it's made necessary by your hard work, just like a celebratory dinner tonight for our seniors. But what we don't want for you to do is fill the content of your work with the unnecessary emptiness of meaningless cant or the relentless insignificance of tautological illusions designed to entice people outside your field into believing that there's something more to all of this than there really is. What we want for you is to share with us the intellectual insights and ontological discoveries you've made over the last year as you've conceptualized, designed, and then undertaken your research, collected your data, and written up your findings. Or, in Meg's case, heard, tasted, envisioned, and then drawn and redrawn her comic book. Hopefully, as you put together your findings and tried to sort out what it all means to your field, thinking about sharing the excitement of your experience with what is an audience of your peers, has reconnected you with the reasons you've spent the last 4 years at Kilachand. And hopefully, realizing that you'll be sharing the specialized knowledge that you've gained and the deep understanding that you've won with a non-specialized audience has helped you recontextualize and better understand why it is that you spent so much time and have drunk so much coffee working on these projects in the first place. So as you present your own work and listen to your friends share theirs, remember the importance of functional slack fill. Remember that it is not simply about filling an emptiness. It is about admitting to the fundamental indeterminacy of the discursive process, rather than establishing clarity where there is none, forcing likelihood to masquerade as certainty, speculation to pass for knowledge, and belief to impersonate analysis. Rather than hiding behind some field-specific packaging that permits for some non-functional slack fill to creep in between you and your audience, I very much hope that you'll celebrate yourself today and the incredible work you've done by helping us all overcome the separation between knowledge and meaning that is so often institutionalized in universities, and especially the non-functional separation between disciplinary specialization and intellectual diversity. Now, before I hand it over to you, I just want to say a couple of words of thanks. First, I want to thank you guys for making Kilachand the high point of my academic career. The past 4 years have been really exciting. My ability to reel off fake research topics, I mean fabricated aura of intellectual authority, by pretending to a knowledge that I don't possess and understanding I don't have, has been greatly enhanced by sitting with you at the junior seminar, meeting with you on the trip to Providence, emailing you about your concerns, and reading all of your proposals. And I read every single one with great attention, precisely because your projects are engrossing and have stretched me intellectually and personally. In packaging parlance, you're the beans. Of course, there are a lot of people who've guided you along the way, the various teachers you've had throughout your coursework at KHC, and especially the junior seminar instructors, and I don't know if they're here yet, but Glenn, Kamal, Japanica, and Davida. The senior instructors, I see David is standing back there, but Victor, Andre, and Stina as well. I'd also like to extend a special welcome and a special thanks to the faculty advisors if they're here. Why don't they stand up? Anybody who's a faculty advisor, please stand up, because you guys put a lot of time and effort into this and you don't have to. So I'd also like to thank our advisors, Karen and Josiah, whose wisdom has prevented me from making some very stupid mistakes. Let's all thank Rick, without whom we wouldn't have any coffee, or lunch, or dinner. And those of you who need reimbursements. I'd especially like to thank Amanda, whose practicality and resourcefulness is topped only by her caustic wit. And without which I would never have survived the leap where KHC used to be at 137 or something like that, Bay State Road to
147.
So what?
147.
147. It's all blurred. It's too many steps.
Footnotes.
Too many numbers. And of course, I'd like to thank Jones. Now, he made it possible for me to participate in his vision of a college in which coffee would not simply be a daily occurrence, but the centerpiece for an intellectual exchange of the highest order and the caffeination necessary for imagining such a different and innovative curriculum. Thanks for cutting me a lot of slack and for not filling it with metrics and assessment. The last couple of months have been very difficult, but I think everyone here this morning feels as I do, that we've grown a great deal because of your inimitable presence, as dapper and well-spoken as it is. Okay, so I now declare the annual Kilachand Keystone Symposium open. Congratulations.